All right. Monday Night Raw is over. Let's talk about it. First off, thank you everybody on TikTok. We finally hit over 1,000 followers on TikTok. Thank you so much. Please hit that follow button and let me know what you thought of Raw in the comments below. Raw, again, concentrating on Braun Breaker and Oba Femi. And what Braun Breaker is obsessed with right now is that people think that Oba Femi is the future and not considering Braun Breaker as the future. Especially this guy right here, Paul Heyman, who they do have a face-to-face backstage where Braun straight up asks him, do you think Oba Femi is the future of WWE? Where Paul Heyman does go on and says, I do respect Oba Femi and what he did to Brock Lesnar. He's kind of not answering the question from Braun Breaker. Ultimately saying that Braun Breaker needs to prove to Paul that he's the future and that Oba Femi isn't. So I'm very curious to see how this goes. They did have another face-to-face with Oba and Bron. Of course, officials came in there and stopped them from doing anything to each other. So you got to assume this match will happen at Saturday night's main event. Maybe Money in the Bank. We'll have to wait and see. But ultimately, to me, in my opinion, what does this feud do for Braun Breaker? This is a huge big-time feud. Two of your future main event wrestlers here with Braun and Oba. But what do you do with Braun after this feud with Oba? Because more than likely, Braun's going to lose. Braun is not going to beat Oba. Oba's white hot. He just quote-unquote retired Brock Lesnar. So are we supposed to expect Braun to beat Oba? I do not. So what do we do with Braun when he loses to Oba at Saturday night's main event or at Money in the Bank? What do you do next with him? And on top of that, that belt he has right there on his shoulder, that tag team gold, should be a world championship and not tag team gold, in my opinion. Also, on top of that, Braun Breaker's looking good, and I'm enjoying this storyline. But what is he in the Vision? He is second fiddle in the Vision. Not even the main guy anymore. Austin Theory is the main guy. He has the chick. Seems like that is the whole storyline with him and Maxine now. This guy's in the background. It wasn't like that like a year or two ago. So it just interesting to see how that happened. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Braun after the Oba storyline. Which you would have to think it happens at Saturday night's main event or Money in the Bank. We also had Becky Lynch and Stephanie Valcour face-to-face tonight, meet up in the ring, talking about how they both want to beat the shit out of Liv Morgan. And of course, at the end of the segment, Liv Morgan attacks Becky Lynch from behind. Of course, Stephanie tries to make the save, and Liv gets out of the ring and runs away. Money in the Bank. More than likely, Saturday night's main event, we'll get a number one contender match to see who would go on to face Liv Morgan. I'm happy to see Stephanie Valcour back, and I'm not a big Becky Lynch guy. I do think she brings a lot more to the women's division when she's there. I don't know who wins this match. I'm very curious to see who WWE goes with. Do they go with Becky just to take to lose Liv, or does Stephanie go against Liv and get her belt back? I don't know where they go with this, and I don't expect to see Liv Morgan lose her title anytime soon. So I just think this is going to be leading up to this facing Liv and Liv beating both of them, or either one of them. First match of the tournament to see who will face Roman Reigns in Mexico City for the World Championship. Penta defeated Laredo Kid. If you look at the bracket, it's more than likely, if you're going by what you see, I mean, it seems obvious that we're going to get Penta and Rey Fenix in the finals, and then Penta moving on to face Roman for the title on Raw, which would be huge for Penta if he somehow upsetted Roman and won that title. If WWE had the cojones, the balls to have that happen, would be extremely insane. Obviously, that more than likely will not happen. Roman will beat Penta in a good main event in Mexico City, where Penta is, huge there. Crowd will be insane that night. But again, this is also featuring AAA wrestlers. So hopefully this helps out AAA, where you see the casual fan who probably doesn't watch AAA at all, see some of these wrestlers and maybe like them to where they will tune in and watch AAA on a Saturday night and, garner more fans to AAA after this tournament. We'll have to wait and see on that. But solid match between Laredo Kid and Penta. Obviously, Penta picks up the win. Looks like we also might get Chad Gable and Rey Mysterio on that Mexico City Raw. So they're really stacking up that Mexico City Raw in the next coming. I think it's in September, if I'm not mistaken. So it's going to looking like a pretty solid show so far. Dominic Mysterio takes on Dragon Lee. And Dom takes another loss. This guy cannot win on Monday Night Raw. You got reports saying that Dom's not very happy with his creative on Monday Night Raw and how he wishes he was taken more seriously. When you see stuff like that being said and you see him taking losses, it's just very interesting to see that happen. But yeah, Dom takes another loss. We'll have to wait and see what that does. But man, Dom is on a losing streak on Monday Night Raw. It's crazy how he's booked totally different on AAA. What else we got? We had Akira Tozawa taking on Austin Theory. I mean, that wasn't really much of anything. But tonight's Raw, Solo Sikoa. Jey Uso main event. If Jey beats Solo, Solo has to go back and join the Bloodline. You know the spew. Jey picks up the win with help from Jimmy. Now, Solo has really hit his stride right now. His charisma, his comedic timing, everything right now with Solo is on point. And it seems like he is getting a lot of fans behind him. I'm wondering how they're going to book this, because fans are probably not a fan of him joining back with the Bloodline. So what do they do to get Solo out of the Bloodline? Does he act like a fool? Does he get kicked out? Does Roman not like how he lost and doesn't feel like it was justified, seeing that there was interference? I don't know. But nobody wants to see Solo back in the Bloodline. So what happens? I guess we'll have to wait and see on that. But overall, I thought Raw was a solid show. 2 weeks in a row, we had pretty solid Raw, with Braun and Oba kind of being the featured storyline right now. And Roman will be back next week. So we'll see what happens with that. Let me know what you thought of Monday Night Raw. Hit that follow button, and we'll see you next week for Monday Night Raw.